welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Set.
I'm Sil.
And Sil is back. Yay,
I'm
Sil.
here. What do you know? What do you know? Well, I just want to thank y'all for some of your prayers that you sent. I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of you are very kind. Just to let you know, my mom got really sick. Went into the hospital, and she's back out now. So keep the prayers going because they are working. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. So we're talking about, as always, or as usual, Married at First Sight, Season 17. We're on to Episode 10 now. Wanted to talk a little bit about Brennan and Emily, but also kind of as a sidebar type topic, specifically how the counseling session with Dr. Pia went between the two of them. I think that Sal and I both were kind of encouraged to see this new expert come in and kind of be a little bit more challenging with the couples, and take a different approach, I suppose. But, I think Thursday I read an article from Screen Rant that was really digging into Dr. Pia about her approach and, coming down hard on her as if she had done something wrong. So wanted to talk to you guys about that and see what your thoughts were about Dr. Pia's performance and give our opinions about Dr. Pia's performance. Because I didn't really have a problem with it. On Screen Rant, the writer was saying that she was very confrontational with Brennan and making the situation between the two of them worse and not giving them, I guess, an opportunity to build upon where they were and improve upon where they were because it kind of set them more at odds. I don't know if I want to put all of that on Dr. Pia. I mean, they were already at a bad place, and Brennan is being very tight-lipped about his feelings. He obviously has some feelings, but he doesn't want to express them for one reason or another. And I mean, I feel like peeling back the layers is like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this on Married at First Sight. So as Dr. Pia is, approaching this with them, she's finding that not only is he very guarded or tight-lipped about discussing where they are and what his feelings are, but he's also exhibiting some pretty controlling behavior.
Extremely.
So I think we want to be careful as counselors or therapists to not just hurrah for the people who are in counseling, but actually challenge them when their behavior is poor or is detrimental to a relationship or detrimental to themselves. And I think that's exactly what Dr. Pia was trying to do. Not to challenge him and go toe-to-toe with him or anything like that, but recognize, look, if we're having a couples counseling session and I'm trying to speak to person A, I don't need person B speaking for them. What else was she to do in that situation? I mean, did you see a different approach that she could have taken?
No, I really don't. Not if she was going to be successful or effective in that situation. As a counselor, as a therapist, she has to run it. She has to assume command and begin to direct the couples. And she can't do that if she's exhibiting this weakness within the session and all of that, or letting certain things slide, like him wanting to be more dominant over her in that particular session. No, she's the professional in that situation.
And you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because you know what that reminded me of? What? Remember when the season with Elijah Wan in it, when Dr. Pepper tried to confront him and he shut her down, he controlled that whole conversation. And I'm like, well, okay, then why are you the expert?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what Dr. Pia did not let happen. And I liked that. I liked seeing that. And it made him uncomfortable for sure. But sometimes you need to be put into an uncomfortable spot in order to grow.
Exactly.
Maybe he didn't see what he was doing as controlling. Maybe he needed to be confronted with that head on. So that was my position on that part of the conversation. Also, they brought up the point where Dr. Pia addressed Emily's facial expressions, because you know, as he's talking over her and, you know, doing things that Dr. Pia is obviously finding problematic, Emily's like making these faces like, oh my gosh. And she addressed that. Why? Because here we're in a safe spot. There's a neutral, you know, person here. And if you need to express some outrage, then you can do that. You guys see our baby is trying to get into the video right now. We're trying to keep him contained. So, but no, I mean, sometimes, you know, when people have a very volatile relationship, it's a little bit easier when there's a third party present for them, for like the weaker, I guess, party to be able to express themselves. And I feel like Dr. Pia was playing that role for her. Like, if it's something that you need to say it now, you know, while I'm here. Because it seems like he's such a controlling type of dominant person over you, perhaps, that you may not have that voice when I am not here. That's how I read that.
I read that too. I mean, because the first thing what Dr. Pia asked was referring to Emily, you know, basically, hey, like, how's it going? What's going on? And Emily's first response was, everything is fine. You know, so she's kind of afraid to address things directly with this guy, you know, and I can see why, because it seems as though he goes from 0 to 60 to 100 within the blink of an eye. And you can just feel or sense his intensity. It's just coming off of
she's feeling it too. It comes off very bipolar-ish. Like I was saying in the last session. But I don't know. I mean, you know, who am I to diagnose? I'm just saying that's the kind of vibe that I get from him. And I think that Dr. Pia is trying her best to prevent a situation from kind of spiraling out of control for Emily. So I didn't knock her for what she did in that counseling session. Now, what Screen Rant then followed up by saying is that they didn't leave the session, you know, any better off, or they both were uncomfortable with it. But I beg to differ, because Emily said that she felt better after the session. When they were having that talk, the two of them in the kitchen, she was saying she felt better. He was saying he felt worse. Why? Because she recommended that he get individual therapy.
Of course.
And
he couldn't even tell you how he felt about anything. And everything she asked is a 1-word, 2-word answer. And so how could you get anything or any further than what she did with this guy? You know? And yes, again, she had to take control of the situation in that counseling situation.
And my issue with Scream Rant's problem with her in that instance is that you don't always leave counseling feeling great about it. You're not always going to do that. You need to do some reflecting sometimes after counseling and consider, is there something to that? Everything is not here to cheer for you and make you feel better in counseling. Sometimes you have to face some reality. Sometimes you have to be introspective and realize some things about yourself. And I hope that that's what that session was able to accomplish for him.
Well, you know, it is. We have gotten so soft, I think, as a society, to where we think everyone is supposed to cheerlead for us. And that's just not the case. And in a counseling session, a therapeutic situation like that, most of us are going to have to grow. We're going to have to change. You know, some things about ourselves. Most of us have to get out of selfishness, and that's very hard. And so for him, there is some maturity. There is some communication issues that he's displaying. And so, yes, it's not going to feel like a bed of roses. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable for him. And he's not going to like it. Most people are not going to like it. But if you're willing to put in the work and you actually willing to listen to what the advice is, you can grow. You can get better. But you don't get better by somebody saying, oh, you're so wonderful, but you're really terrible.
Right. And that she would have been very wrong, I think, to approach that situation and give him all this credit for nothing. He's not putting much in. Emily is doing all the work. And as I've said before, and I think a couple of our viewers have acknowledged, Emily is a much stronger I guess, candidate for wife. I don't know how you put that. Than I expected her to be.
Me too.
I've been impressed by her patience, her maturity, her perseverance, her flexibility
Me too.
in this whole situation. And it's unfortunate that, he sees her, as you say, as a party girl. And that seems, I don't know that that's it,
Yeah.
but that's all we've been given in terms of it, the previews kind of giving us a heads up as to that being what has turned him off.
Mm-hmm.
But you're on this show, so you get what they give you.
This is true.
So.
This is true. And I don't know. Me and my wife were talking, and when he dropped that little bit of nugget, I believe in the after party.
Yeah, it was either the after party or the preview.
It was one of the two. He dropped that nugget, and the only thing I can say is, again, a lot of men do want and kind of expect their wife or potential wife to have a sense of virtuosity, if that's a word. They do. They do. And so most men don't want their wife or in her singleness out there wilding it out,
Yeah.
And so, when... Hey, what can I say?
It's giving Orion vibes, right? Like the slut shaming. When does it end, guys?
When does it end? I don't know. But hey, I think some women be like, I can do anything a man can do. Well, depending on the man that you want, maybe you can. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, right. But she didn't know who she was going to get matched up, just like he didn't know who he was going to get matched up with. Yeah. And I think she would have had no idea that her being open and honest and candid, and we've learned this twice this season, once with Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Give us 1 second for a baby break. Okay, guys. Hopefully your baby break is over. Hopefully. Anyway, I kind of just want to wrap it up talking about Brennan's resistance to therapy. Mm-hmm. We saw when he was talking to Emily in that scene in their kitchen, I think it was, that when they were going back and forth talking about therapy and he was getting really frustrated, he said it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I were talking about that just a little bit. Want to know you guys' opinion on this. What I think happened there, because you saw in the after party where he's like, yeah, I think it helps a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think he was resistant because he felt, for one, backed into a corner. Like Screen Rant said, he felt like he was being attacked with that. But I also think because he took it as though maybe because he's having a hard time feeling something for Emily, not attracted to her, whatever the case may be. And so he's thinking, like, I don't need therapy because I don't like this girl. I just don't like her. I don't have to like her. And for that singular point, I would agree. I think he's missing, though, the big picture, which is that I don't think Dr. Pia cares whether he's attracted to her or not. It's just more so, who says I don't have any feeling?
Yeah.
Well,
you're absolutely right. You don't need therapy if you're not attracted to somebody. Right. But you do need therapy if you can't communicate why you're not attracted to somebody.
Do you think so? Ooh,
yes.
Now that's a good side topic, bro.
Yes.
Because I don't necessarily agree with that. You guys let me know what you think about that, because I feel like there could be a person who isn't necessarily unattractive or anything, but you just don't click.
Then you say that.
Yeah, but that's not really very expressive. That ain't saying much of anything. It's just like, I can't put my finger on it. I just don't like this person.
Well, but that still would have been more than what he said.
True.
But
that's how I took what he was saying.
I think most people, and I was, as you and I were watching these events, unfold, I kept saying, he knows why he's not attracted to her. He knows exactly why he's not attracted to her. It's not that he is void of feeling or anything like that. He's a human. He has emotions, but he just didn't want to speak up on it, or he was pretending like he didn't know how to speak up on it. However you want to say it. And
why would that be? You think that he really thinks that he's going to look that bad if he says
at that particular point? I believe he was
How
thinking
bad
about
could it
it. For him, being on national TV and saying and making a judgment, keep in mind, we live in a society now. Our societal norms is you don't judge me. The Bible says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged," and get it all out of context. And so we live in a society where you can't judge anybody for anything. So here it is. He's on national TV. He knows this wave is going to come right back at him via the internet, YouTube. He knows it's going to come back at him. So he's thinking, I better not say anything. And I'm just going to kind of like save face.
But he looks awful in doing so.
Absolutely. It was a miscalculation on his
part. Right.
I
think that he looks worse because he's also kind of, like she said a couple of episodes ago, by not saying anything, he's still saying something.
Yeah.
When she was asking him when they were speaking on the couch, are you attracted to me? He's like, I can't talk about it. It's like, okay, well, I got my answer.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously this guy, that's so obvious because we haven't heard the whole story yet. Mm-hmm. But it's becoming apparent, seems to be, that he's just not attracted to her because he thinks she's kind of loose.
I think that's what it is. It does sound like that.
Yeah. And so,
yeah.
Well, how do you say? Well, how do you sit down with? You've already married her, and I think you can say it, and you have to say it in some kind of way, but the way he chose to go about doing it, it made things worse.
You know what I think, though, as we're talking about this, I think that he doesn't think there's any way to redeem it. Because, right, if you can give us one more baby break. Okay, guys, sorry for the baby break again. Final point, honestly, this time. What I think is happening with Brennan, though, is that he doesn't think that it's redeemable. Like, their relationship is not going to be able to be redeemed because of how he feels about it. And so you are going to look bad if your effort is not there and then you're also telling me what's wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like, if I can't fix it, what's the point in even talking about it? I think maybe that's what's happening with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because then it just seems like unnecessarily mean. And at least it would make a little bit more sense to me that he's not at all forthcoming about what's going on. If he's like, okay, at the end of this 8 weeks, I got to go because I'm already so turned off by what she said. And truth be told, she can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. If she's told people, and I said this very early on in this season, I would not have shared that if I were her. And I'm a pretty open book with most things. But if I was continually ghosted by people, that would not have been something that I led with all of these interviews. And as soon as I met my brand new married at first sight spouse, I wouldn't have said that. Yeah. He would have had to be sold on me before I revealed that, the last 10 people I met just ghosted me. No, I don't think that was a good one to share, but I think that's one of those things you can't work on that, right? Like, that has happened. It's been done, and you said it. Now I know it, and I can't unhear it. Mm-hmm. So if that's off-putting to me, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Might as well not even talk about it. The only thing he could do better, if that's the case, if that's how he really feels, is go ahead and check out right now.
Well, he's kind of already checked out.
No. I mean, like, exit stage left.
Completely.
Yes.
Yeah, probably so. But here's the thing, too.
Because she about to bust her skull open for this man in the next episode.
Yeah. We have to see it, but it does appear that to be that case. But yeah, you're right. If he's so turned off, then voice it. You have to find a way to voice it, though. And if you can't, then you probably do need some counseling to help you with your communication. It's just the way it is. Yeah. Be able to talk about it, no matter what it is. So there it is.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we have on Brennan and Emily. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought specifically about the Dr. Pia counseling session, and if she did a good job, a mediocre job, or a terrible job, like Screen Rant seems to think.
I think she did a good job.
Yeah. And if you have any more insight on what the heck is going on with Brennan, go ahead and drop that in the comments below as well. So drop all those comments below, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon.